How does debt grow via our behaviors? And you may already be able to identify a few areas in your life where debt's growing. However, to put it simply, it is when our debt grows when we borrow too much. We attend schools we can't really afford in the long run. We buy cars that don't bring value to us outside of just getting us to work, but they cost us a fortune. You get the idea. Things like that. Things we're taking loans for that we don't really need, or there's other ways to do things that don't cost us money. Next is we spend more than we make, just poor spending habits. We buy something expensive with a credit card that is way beyond what our income can afford, but we have a credit limit, got to hit that credit limit. And we eat out when we should be packing our lunches for work. We buy the most expensive gear for our hobbies because we're overly obsessed with it. That list goes on and on. We live in a house we can't afford. We buy a coffee on the way to work every day. There's a lot of ways we can overspend, right? And then the third point is, sometimes we just have complicated tracking. We're trying to track our money, but we haven't figured out a good system that works for us. We may think we're on track and paying everything at a good pace, but we're not. Our system is failing us, or we don't have any system at all. And that's how we got into this debt to begin with. So in sum, our debt grows when we have poor money habits. And I'm not talking poor as in Poor, like you're poor. I mean, poor as in they're just bad habits. They'll make you poor, or at least broke. We all have bad habits in our lives. In general, everyone has some bad habits, but it's our ability right now to find the root of why we have them is super important. We're going to try to find the root of where our bad spending habits, bad money habits come from. So I'll give you an example. For example, for myself I recently noticed myself forming a bad money behavior. Each time I went to the gym after I was done working out, that's me in the photo, by the way, super ripped. Just kidding. That's not me. After I was done working out, I would stop by a Mickey D's. I'd go to a Mickey D's and get an iced coffee. How could I not? It was right there next to my gym. And I had the McDonald's app, so the coffee was only $1.07. This is not sponsored, by the way. And I did this for 5 days in a row, right? I was like, I'm going to hit the gym, go straight to get an iced coffee. And I was like, whoa there, cowboy. This is getting a little out of hand. I was on my way to spending nearly $20 on coffee for the month, not in my house. So I started to wean myself off of this habit and only went to McDonald's on Fridays if I had worked out for 5 days in a row. It became a positive reward, and it was only $4.28 to ensure that I go to the gym 5 days in a row for an entire month. 5 days, 5 days, 5 days. $4.28, that's way better than the 20. And that's something I can fit into my budget until I get in the habit of no longer wanting to drink those iced coffees anymore because my priority shifted to focusing on my health. With that being said, I don't drink those iced coffees anymore. So I wean myself off of that habit. However, let's contrast that. If I were to have gone to the gym, then paid $5 for a Starbucks each day on the way home. Now that's $25 a week and then $100 a month. It gets out of hand quick, but it becomes harder for me to stop because now it's a habit. I do it every day. I go to the gym, I get my $5 coffee, and it's all about identifying what cues spark your habits into motion and taking advantage of those cues to replace the bad habits with good ones. For example, my cue for going to McDonald's was going to the gym. My cue for going to the gym was preparing my gym bag. And my cue for preparing my gym bag was hearing my alarm clock go off. Habit stacking is a real thing, and we're going to review that in more depth in the next video to come, but it's important I introduce it to you here. And the point I'm really trying to get to is ultimately we control how big and how fast our debt grows. We have to claim full control over the circumstances we're in, no matter what. We got to take responsibility for it because then we can grab it by the horns and alter it. In the next lesson, we're going to dig deeper into how we can manipulate or control our habits to get a hold on our debt and shape things and shape the direction that it goes into.